Hello and welcome back to International Love Story, a podcast about long distance and multicultural relationships. My name is Christina and I hope you guys are having an amazing day or morning or afternoon wherever you are right now. I am so excited to introduce today's couple in this episode. Just for you to know, before we start and before we jump into it, we had to record this episode in 2 parts because Roman and Deliah, so this is the couple I am going to interview. They're from Germany, so Roman is from Germany and Deliah is from Uganda. And Uganda doesn't have always the best internet connection, so we got interrupted a couple of times in between. It actually took a while for me to prepare this podcast episode in order for you guys to have the best quality possible. I just hope that, you are going to enjoy this episode besides the fact that we recorded it in 2, and besides the one or the other distraction in between, but the story they're telling is just amazing. I felt like talking to friends while interviewing them, and I would describe them as a power couple. So please stay tuned, listen to the whole episode, leave us some feedback, what you think about this episode. You know it, find us on Instagram or on Facebook, International Love Story. And I'd say let's just dive directly into it and let's welcome Roman and Deliah. So welcome to the show, guys. I'm super excited to get to know you and to get to know your story a little bit better. And what I normally do is everyone who's listening to the podcast knows that we normally start with a little introduction. Who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing? Like, tell us all about you.
My name is Deliah and I'm from Uganda. I'm 31 years old and I am a medtech entrepreneur. I am Roman's fiance. Yeah, what else? I think that's pretty much it. That sums me up in a nutshell.
I didn't know that you got engaged, guys. Congratulations. When did this happen?
Thank you. It happened in June, but we wanted to keep it private. So that's probably why you didn't see anything on the travel swirl.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't. Amazing news.
It was a very emotional, very heartfelt moment, and we just wanted to keep it to ourselves.
For quite a while. But let's get back to that later. So, Roman, as I said, you are currently living in Germany, but I guess like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Like, those are amazing news. But let's start with you, Roman. Who are you? What are you doing? Where are you from?
Okay, my name is Roman Stöcker. I come from Aachen, Germany. It's near Cologne. Maybe Cologne is more known by everyone here in Germany and around. I'm an educator in a childcare home and a part-time actor, and do a few acting jobs, and I act in medieval castle nearby and do some medieval show fighting stuff and something like this. And yeah, I'm in my free time, I'm working on a lot of projects. Right now I rebuild a camper van so that we we hopefully can do a nice trip in September. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much myself.
Yeah, we were talking last time already. Deliah, by the way, when I talked to Roman last time, he was telling me a little bit more about you. Also facts. I really didn't know that you studied in China, that you lived in China,
Yes.
and he was like, he was so in love,
Aw.
like his eyes were sparkling when he talked about you, and it was just like, and then hearing the news that you guys recently got engaged, I mean, everything matches up. I know I'm just jumping right into
Yes,
it,
definitely.
but I love it. It's just like, so I really don't know where to start because this got me by surprise, to be honest. But yeah, let's talk about your engagement first. And let's start in the middle. Let's start there. Like, what happened?
Well, I mean, we did want to keep it just to ourselves. I mean, we are trying to build this brand on Instagram, but we were worried that maybe somewhere along the line some things will get lost in, you know, lost out there. So we made a conscious decision to keep some of those very what do I call it? Those very surreal moments to ourselves. Like, for instance, our engagement, or if in the future, God willing, when I give birth, or, like those very life changing moments, we try to be careful about sharing too much. But in a nutshell, it was great. It was just me and Roman. I had no idea, and I don't know how he managed to do that because I'm always around the clock, all around him. We do everything together when we are together because we are a long distance couple and we only get a few weeks in a year together. So when we're together, it's like we're like super glue. But somehow he managed to pull it off. And yeah.
It was when you visited Germany a couple of weeks ago, right? This is when he proposed?
No, when I was there, the last time I was in Uganda.
Ah, okay.
In June.
Okay.
Around my birthday.
Ah. And you really had no idea.
Yes, which is crazy because I'm always on the lookout.
So noisy, this girl. So hard to hide something.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, in general, women are a little bit curious, especially when it comes to things like this. But you did very well, apparently, Roman. So you can tap yourself on your shoulder, like, well done.
He did good. He did good.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said before, we quite just like jumped right into the middle, basically where you guys are at right now, like being engaged. And if we go back a few months, how did you meet? Because this is what I normally start the conversation with. What happened before? Like, what happened in the last few months that led you to where you guys are at right now?
Oh, this is a quite interesting and long story.
Go ahead, I have time.
We met last year in 22nd of April online at a dating platform. And this girl texted me the first. Hello there, mister, how are you? And I replied, and this was the start of something very special. And yeah, we started to text a lot, and it goes very quick that we talk from the morning until the evening, send text messages, voice messages, and it got more and more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take that long that it was the first thing I've done to open my phone when I wake up and have a look if there's some nice message from Deliah for me, or I sent her something, wish her a nice good morning and wish her a nice day, and hopefully we can catch up in the evening or something like this. We started to make some plans when we got to know each other, and yeah, at one point we started to be serious, huh? So we both were on this dating platform for a reason.
Yeah.
That we find our big love and start a new chapter in our life. And yeah, all these things around we checked off very quick. So we both want to have kids. We both have a lot of things in common. We both have a lot of things where we are different. But this is definitely not a problem. It's the opposite. So I can learn from Delia so much, and she can learn something from me. And this is something what I've really like in our relationship. And I think we do a very good job so far. What do you think, Delia?
I think we do good.
That's good.
It's been quite an amazing journey. Sometimes when I'm hanging with Roman,
yes.
I feel like I've known this dude for ages, but it's only been a year and a half. I remember when I was little, when I was in high school, not even high school, just recently when I was in university, I was getting older and older and older, and I was thinking, damn. So it's usually the normal thing, the normal trajectory of relationships that I've seen around me is that you have to know somebody for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years before it's like, okay, legit, we're gonna get married and it's gonna be successful. So I was worried, like, I don't have 8 years to get to know somebody. So I was a little concerned about that, but I was really glad that when we, just instantly from our first communication, there was that you could feel it. There was it was an instant match. Definitely. And I think what helped us was 4 things. Number 1, we have a lot in common, just in our personalities and what our likes and dislikes and etc. and our family values. Number 2, we are so different. It's like night and day. It sounds like a paradox, but we are very alike, but also extremely different, like our culture difference, our age difference, our background, our education, etc. And then the third is that we are attracted to each other. That's also equally as important. But then we also had a shared vision for the future. I think if one of these things were missing, I don't know if the bond would have progressed that fast, let alone be that strong.
When you you guys signed into this dating app, did you honestly expect something like this might happen, or what was your intention originally when you signed in?
Roman?
So I was impressed from Delia's move to text me, and it take a while that I realized, okay, this girl is actually now sitting in Kampala, Uganda, and texting with me in Aachen, Germany. That was crazy. Until I've realized, I said, okay, wow.
It's too late.
This is hell fucking far away.
A little bit.
Yes. Never expected a long distance relationship, never thought about it. But after we talked about how it can be, and we talked about it, and we were worried about it for some days, but then we got back online. I think it helped us too to go through all of this and get a very special bond. For me, it's the first time I have a long distance relationship.
And it was your first time doing online dating too, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, this too. And yeah, in the first time you have only talking and sharing yourself, and the longest time we talked in a row was 12 hours without hanging up. so crazy. And yeah, it took us 7 months that we met the first time. So you can imagine how much time we had to talk and see each other through all the apps we use. So we must be very creative sometimes because of some bad connections from here or bad connections in Uganda. Yeah, you must be very creative in this long distance relationships to get it in touch and keep it on moving. You can't say, okay, today I'm lazy and I don't care about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you come home, when I come home, Delia is not here. Very short phases where you are together. So I'm an employee, so I have a special amount of holidays, and it's planned throughout the whole year. And yeah, it's something very special, and I've never thought that I can handle it, but for us it was the best, definitely.
How was it for you, Delia? Was it the first time you tried online dating?
My experience, so this is one of those things where we're so different, Roman and I. My experience is the complete opposite of Roman's. I almost only ever online dated. Roman and I, yes, complete opposite experiences. This is one of those things where he and I vary completely, like almost the extreme end of the spectrum. My experience before I met Roman was predominantly online. Most of my relationships and encounters had predominantly been from online because, well, I've been living in China for 11 years. I went there when I was 18 and coming as a teenager, living on my own for the first time in a huge and fast growing country like China. My entire dating and love discovery as a young woman started there. And China, for those that haven't been there, the misconception is that it's a lot of Chinese and very few foreigners, but it's a melting pot of, it's kind of like a international hub now because all the entire world is kind of like, eyeing China. So you get a lot of people from all over the world there. A lot. So it's really an international hub. And most of the international people there aren't there to get in serious relationships. Most of them are there for like an adventure or focusing on school or work, and they're out. So a lot of the guys there that I was, into weren't really inclined to wasting their China adventure on getting stuck in a I don't know, any place you have a lot of people that are not originally from there, but they're there for a specific experience or, so in a nutshell, very few people that are international are there to settle down because eventually they would have to go back to their home countries. So you can imagine the dating landscape there is very casual, very flaky, very fickle, very wishy-washy, and also people are extremely on the move there. So online dating, I think, was the normal way to meet people for a lot of us international people in China. So I had mostly been online dating, but of course with no success. I hadn't met my soulmate, but I was dead set on meeting my soulmate. I didn't want to settle. The thought of getting tied down with somebody that just isn't your person, I couldn't stomach it. I had a few experiences where my friends would tell me, no, Delia, just go for him. Like, he has money or whatever. He has this career or whatever. You're not staying young forever. Just tie him in, like, trick him or do something to get him stuck with you and get married. That kind of mindset just never sat well with me. And so I went on. And in 2020, when COVID hit, I was back in Uganda and I was like, oh, okay, let's just give this online dating thing one more try. And lo and behold, I finally met my soulmate. So I'm glad it all paid off because as a woman, it was a really tough journey going through all these ups and downs with all sorts of different characters, you know?
Yeah. But is it like, was it the first time for you making the move and writing someone, or are you just a very direct person and you're like, you saw his pictures and you were like, he is cute, let me text him, he seems to be a nice person. Like, what made you texting him first?
Girl, by that point, I was not the damsel little princess anymore, you know? You have to put you have to put yourself in in the shoes or in the mind of someone that has been doing this for years on end in a place where they're living alone with no family, no concrete support system. Sure, I had some close friends, but it's not the same as having your family around where you drive around every day and you can point like, that's the place I went to school with. It does something to you. You kind of become a bit hardcore. So, also because I was living in Africa and he was all the way in Germany, I knew I have to make the first move because I am browsing in Germany, but the person is not necessarily browsing in Africa. So I have to make the first move to get their attention, and then they can text me back. Does that make sense? Because online dating apps usually have that radius thing. You can browse the matches that will come to your, mostly people are in your locale, in your city.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to browse people, if you want to chat with people in other countries around the world, you have to pay for a premium. And that's what I did. I paid for a premium and I was like, okay, let's check out what's happening in Germany.
Wow. Germany.
Yeah.
Let's just check what's happening in Germany.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of wanted to be with a German guy, honestly, because I had so many German friends in Beijing and I had met different people from all over the world. The German people, for some reason, were always consistently very level-headed, very responsible, great work ethic, honest. They're even girlfriends, girls, boys, every German person I met, they had those things in common. And they kind of resonated with me. I kind of liked that. So if I had to spin the globe and think about where would I want the person I want to spend the rest of my life with to come from, I asked myself this question. I was like, you know what? I think I'll be happy with a German guy because in my experience, German people, both female and male, just prove themselves to be very level-headed people, very good people. Of course, that is not a rule. I know people are different.
Aww.
There's always exceptions. But in my own experience, that was the experience I had.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I specifically browsed in Germany, but when you browse in another country, the other person is not browsing in your country. So the chances of him landing on your profile are very slim. So that's another reason why I had to make the first move. And it also is good because I don't mind making the first move, but in my African culture, it's not appreciated. They see it as, oh, you're too aggressive or you're too masculine. But when I know I'm talking with European people, I can be myself. I can make the first move and I don't have to worry about them judging me for being too unfeminine or, whatever crazy stereotypes they have of us here.
And obviously, I mean, you used to live in China, so you've stepped out of your comfort zone a couple of times already.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
I guess that made it easier. It's just like I love how you are describing your dating experience with the German. Obviously, you were very successful with that. because I can't agree to that. So I had bad experience with dating Germans.
Yeah.
So everything you just said, I was like, wow, that's the perspective of someone like outside of us. This is so cool. I love listening to you.
I think you're kind of like me, but in the reverse, right? Like, you appreciate intercultural experiences. In your core, you feel like it makes you richer. So if you have that in your core, you're bound to prefer something out there, because I think I was the same.
Yeah.
I think I was the same. I hear, for instance, I have German girls that love the Ugandan boys. I have a few friends that are married to Ugandan men, and they tell me all these wonderful things about Ugandan men, and I'm like, what? Which Uganda? The same one I'm from? I don't know.
Can we please meet in person, Delia, with a glass of wine, and then we keep on chatting about it? This is so amazing. So, Roman, sorry, you're excluded.
Yeah, I know this. I know this.
No, I love it. It's just like I just like to listen to other perspectives as well. Also, especially when it comes to my nationality. And I guess Roman was surprised as well when he suddenly got this message from the other side of the world, and he didn't expect it at all. And he was like, "What the heck?" Yeah.
He thought I was a scammer.
Yeah, we laughed about it. And we talked about it. Maybe it's Igor in Russia who wants to scam money from me. All this stuff you talk about before, or you hear about, yeah, maybe here and there, and they want to get in touch with you, and I need money, send me money. So we laughed about it, and we checked this off that it's something real. Yeah.
Yeah, what you just said, like checking out if it's something real. I mean, it is real. How long did it take for you to realize how real it is? Was it right away from the beginning, or was there a specific point where you were both like, okay, that's it, and let's get very serious about it?
It takes a bit. So at first we chatted only, then the first phone call comes up, and it becomes more and more in our relationship, our bond. And then there was this weekend, I think, where we talked about, okay, let's get this serious question on the plate. If this will be something serious, we must talk about how it's going to be. So we both were definitely on the same page that we don't want to have a long distance relationship forever. And we must check it off how we would manage it. And in this point, we both said, okay, we can't leave our home. So Delia has her entrepreneurship there and all her companies she works on, and especially her healthcare app. At first, she said, "Okay, I can't move too." And for me, it's the same. I'm employed here. I have here my roots, and yeah, I think I'm more not connected to my roots. That's the wrong word, but I was at this time not able to say, okay, I leave my family here. Yeah, you've had this experience before, and I was scared.
Of course.
To say, okay, yeah, I leave here my family, and yeah, then this happens.
Yeah, because for me, I had already had like 11 years living in a country like China and traveling around. Yeah, and for Roman, it was new.
I will give my very best too, so that we can have it both. So, and I thought about, oh my gosh, this would be exciting. So have two home sites here in Germany and one in Kampala, Uganda. Yeah, why not? It sounds such a great adventure and packed with so much experiences. And yeah, and then it goes on, and then there was this evening I was in Cologne with a very good friend of mine, and I wrote her that, well, I think I fell in love with you, and I know this day definitely.
I can understand. Yeah, I mean, like, listening to you, Delia, you seem to be very like joyful person. I love listening to you. Like it's like yeah, it just makes me happy listening to you. So I can completely
You had
understand
no
why Roman was
chance.
like, okay, I want this girl by my side. I want to make it work. And I guess, Roman, you don't have, or do you have any friends or family members who have been through something similar, or that people that can relate to your relationship, to what you're having? Or was it basically, okay, whatever, let's try it out and let's just go for it because she's amazing?
Yes, I have definitely some family members. So my uncle is married with an Filipino artist, and they live in Berlin. My cousin and my male cousin and my female cousin, they moved to America. One of them is married with an Iranian girl. My step brother from here is related to a Vietnam. So we are very multicultural. But for me, it was the first time to.
His family is already kind of like the little UN. So we needed some representation from Africa. Hello.
And the day, Delia, Roman was writing you, hey, I think I'm falling for you, or I fell in love. How do you remember this moment?
For me, I knew earlier on that, oh my God, I think he's the one. I think this is the guy. Because I had, at that point, I knew exactly what I wanted. I'd been through enough experiences to kind of gauge that. And I knew, when I started telling my mom and telling my sisters and showing everybody his photo and his acting videos, I was really excited about him and I loved showing him off. And I don't usually show off people if I know it's not serious, because in our culture also, you don't just introduce your boyfriend to your mom. When you introduce a boyfriend to your mom, it's usually like, okay, when is the wedding? That's how our culture is. But when I saw myself always excited and always finding excuses to bring his name into conversations, that's when I knew, like, okay, I think I'm really feeling this. Roman knows this, but I think it was about after 1 month. But I didn't tell him anything until after he told me that he loves me, because I don't want to be the first one to say it. I was the first one to say hi, and I didn't want to be the first one to say it and risk him, because this is a funny story. About 2 weeks, about 3 weeks into our online dating, relationship, I was telling him that I'm in love with him. I think I was narrating something from a movie or something, and then he misunderstood me, and then he tries to, give me an education. Hey, young lady, this matters are not that. You can't just joke about something like that. Love is something serious. And he lectures me about love and about how it's too early to say it because it's something you have to think through and la 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 la. I'm listening to this guy giving me this lecture about love, and I'm like, And then a few weeks later, he's like, Dilly, I love you. Of course, I had to rub it in. I was like, oh, baby, what happened to the lecture? Huh? Felt good to say hear the words and say them back and mean them. Because I had experiences where the words were told. I had heard the words, but they didn't move me. They didn't make me feel anything. And then I felt like I had to say it back because I didn't want the other person to feel embarrassed.
Before, when I told you that
What?
I'm
That was
good.
your
Yes,
intention?
in the lecture.
Oh, in the
And
lecture.
I always hear
Always good
this
for a support.
when
Yes,
it's
yes,
about
yes.
how we get in touch.
Yeah,
She puts out all the way.
absolutely. I'm gonna be telling our grandkids about that.
I mean, I'm doing the same because I mean, Nat and I we are married, but we are married without that he ever proposed to me. And I'll always tell him like, hey, you never proposed to me. And that's like somehow an insider already, like because I always rub it.
You robbed me.
Yeah. I always rub it under his nose, as you would say in
He
German.
needs to do it one day. He needs to do it one
He
day on your
has
birthday
to.
or something, and
Yeah.
you deserve it. Come on, girls. We spend our entire lives dreaming about that moment. You can't rob us.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, we do.
Nacho, I know you're hearing and
He's
listening.
sitting in the front right now, in the front of the car. But I mean, I'm going to play the recording to him. So keep on talking, please. So he's feeling very bad now.
Nacho, you gotta do it. Christina deserves her dream come true. Girls, we spend our entire lives dreaming about this. And you can't just let it fly by. It's not something to, pass by like that. It means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. If you believe in love, that's true. Yeah. Especially if you find the person, if you find your soulmate, it's just like you just want everything to be perfect, and
Yes.
this is just part of it. Like, and then those things, like the first time saying I love you, then the first time seeing each other in person. I mean, I know that you guys, I mean, you met online, and then a couple of months later you saw each other for the first time, and there was this attraction before by just talking on the phone and spending time together on distance. And then you met, and this is just something you will never forget, like those little moments along your way, and there's so much more to come. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've never felt my heart beating so hard at this moment when I came out of the airport and could hug her and touch her and feel her and smell her. Everything that's lost the 7 months before. So in the end, before we met, we had daily contact from the morning and until the evening. We shared every single step we've done throughout the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was so excited. It was a lot of things the first time for me. The first time intercontinental flight, the first time out of Europe, first time on Africa, the first time meeting Delia after 7 months.
In COVID.
In COVID.
In the middle of a pandemic. Yeah. When we met, first it meant the world. I was so nervous. I was with my mom, so it was a little awkward that the first time I'm meeting this guy, I'm third wheeling with my mom. My mom is third wheeling on it. But I was really glad to have her there because she was my rock, and she was holding my hand, and I was so nervous. I was shaking. I was like, oh my God, there he is. Mommy, what do I do? What do I do? She's like, calm down. Just go to him. Give him a hug. I said, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And so I walked to him and gave him the longest hug ever. I never wanted it to end. Oh my gosh. This experience was amazing. Like I'd never had anything like that. meeting the person you're so deeply in love with for the first time after only talking with them through the phone for 7 months. I'd never had that either. So it was really great. And I was so shy and I was kind of like awkward. I couldn't look him in the face. Oh, I was so excited. I just couldn't wait to get alone with him.
How was it for your mom? Did you ever talk about it afterwards with your mom? How she felt when you guys were going to the airport together, she holding your hand and telling you, "Hey, it will be amazing." Like, um, in real perspective, how was it for her? Do you know?
Yes, we talk about it very openly. So my mom, I've tried to introduce guys to her before, but she's such a, we call her the queen diva. Every time I would try to introduce guys to her in the past, she'd always say like, "Nope, ain't nobody got time. I don't have time. I don't have time. No, no, no." But with Roman, for some reason, I guess the same way I have chemistry with Roman, she has some chemistry with him as well. She thinks so. She feels like she has some bond with him because she loves him. Everyone in my family just absolutely loves Roman. So
Mhm.
she was just as excited as I was when we were driving to the airport, and she wanted everything to be perfect. She wanted him to be comfortable. She had to check out the Airbnb that we are going to stay in, and she was like, "It has to be good for Roman." We had booked one before, and she said, "No, no, absolutely no. Roman can't live here. This is not good enough for Roman. Roman has so everything was about Roman, 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 and she was so excited for me, and she really loves him too, like her own son. So she was
Oh.
just as giddy and just as excited when he came, and after hugging me, she was like, "My hug, my turn," and then she hugged him
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It was
And by
really
the
cute.
way, Delia's mom was on top from the very first time. So, and we had a lot of Zoom meetings before with her and with my mom, and so this
Oh,
connection was
yes.
very, very strong, even with the families. We had a lot of Zoom talks and Zoom play evenings, play games.
Date. We used to schedule our own couple Zoom dates, but then we
Mhm.
also used to schedule family dates because it was also important. Roman is very family oriented. I'm very family oriented. So it was also important for our families to come into the long distance relationship with each other as well, and meet each other and get acquainted with each other. And yeah, so it was, she was also just as excited to meet him after talking to him for
Yeah,
the last 7 months, just like me.
This was in October 2020. That was the first time you guys met in person, no?
November. I yeah.
Yes.
So we had a lot of plans before where we would meet.
Mhm.
So the first thought about was, okay, let's meet at a neutral place somewhere, so we have some nice experience together when we fly somewhere together where we both never been. And then in the beginning of October, Uganda opens the airports again, and I said to her, to Delia, why shouldn't I come to Uganda? So you are in your home country, you have your family, and maybe you feel a bit more secure
Yeah.
to meet me the first time. So we have a lot of contact
Mhm.
this last 7 months, but you never know. So the physical chemistry can succeed or ruin everything when it doesn't work. And I've wanted her to feel
Yes.
safe. And uh, yes, I've booked for 25 days everything, and I've never gotten plan B when it doesn't work out because I've never had the feeling. But I want to give her the feeling that she
Mhm.
is
Oh,
in a safe place. So I've booked the Airbnb and she met me there, and she had the chance when she feels something that's not good for her to say, okay, sorry, but I leave.
Mhm.
And this is much more easier than we stay together in the Philippines in a hotel or something.
That's a good point. I mean, it's like, yeah, obviously the chemistry was there. You guys said, "Hey, I love you." Yeah, I love you too. But then it's always something different to see each other the first time in person. It's just like, but in your case, it went more than good, to be honest.
So we talked about how it is when we met the first time, and I said, okay, I think after that the long distance will be easier to stay because you know
yes,
what you
that's
have.
what he thought. He thought
Hell
things were gonna get
no.
easier.
Guys who listen this podcast, forget it. Prepare that
Gets
will
harder.
be the hardest time you have. It is how it is. You can't say it nice. It's hard.
I don't even know how we went through those 7 months. Those 7 months were a breeze. But now even 1 month apart is like hell.
Sure.
We can't do
Burning
it.
every day, yes.
Yeah, because I mean, you do have a goal, which we are going to talk about later on in this podcast episode. But it's just like you get so used to each other, even though you're dating on distance. And then obviously, with every time you see each other in person, you even get to know each other even better, because you do have the physical touch and all this, you know. And you're very attached. I remember this feeling, even though if it has been like, I'm just thinking 2000, oh my God, 2015 we met. Yeah, dating on distance. And it was always like heartbreaking and always like tears. And it was always like, I don't know, it's like thinking back, a very weird feeling because at some point, obviously, you know that the time you're spending is not endless because at some point you have to say goodbye again. And this makes you appreciate, at least that's how I felt, appreciate the time you're together even more. But then at the same time, while you're together, you're also thinking about like, okay, counting the days and 7 days, we have to say goodbye again.
It's really hard. We always try to make
Yeah.
a rule and promise to each other, like, okay, the journey starts now. No talking about airports or tickets going back or what it's going to be about going back until the actual week. So we actually ban each other from talking about separating until the actual week. And it just helps us to be present. Yeah, it helps us to be present in the moment and just focus on enjoying each other's company.
Does it work? Does it always work?
Yes,
Or
No,
like
but
it works,
is
baby. It does. Of course, we slip up.
yes,
We
yes.
slip up sometimes. Sometimes I can go think about it, and Roman will catch me with tears rolling down my eyes, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And then he'll just instantly know, like, okay, I think she just thought about the separation, and then we won't talk about it. And he'll just hug me, and then we'll try to change the topic. Yeah, but it does help because then what else are you gonna do? You're gonna just wallow in the despair of your thoughts throughout the entire time. You miss out in the moment. So we try to refrain from that.
And is there like, do you set like a time frame? Let's schedule every 3 or 4 months, or how does it work in your case?
Yes, we tried out after the first meeting when I flew there. We said, okay, let's try out to figure out that it's around 2 months in between, so that the time you can easily count the time. So I have an app, a countdown app, so that it shows, okay, in so much hours, so much seconds, and so much days, we meet again. So that
Let's go ahead with the second part of the podcast. I'm welcoming Deliah and Roman again. We had a little interruption in between because things got a little bit crazy over there in Uganda. And I just learned from Roman that you never know what to expect over there, so that things can get quite crazy, and that every day is quite different. Delia, is that right?
That's absolutely right. I mean, if it's not the internet, it's the electricity. If it's not the electricity, it's something else. But we do our best.
We always say when we can stand all this stuff that hits us all this time, and in the end it's worth it, and what else can come when we are finally together next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that last time, because the last thing we've talked about was basically you guys trying to see each other every 2 months.
Yeah.
Which, talking about that, plans changed again. You, Delia, you were supposed to be in Germany for you guys to attend a wedding. And then, unfortunately, I'm really sorry, because I just learned it from Roman that this actually didn't happen. So how are you guys? I mean, the conversation is leading to a different direction than it was supposed to be when we first recorded. But how do you guys deal with, like, first of all, like the electricity problems, the internet problems in general? Because I can only imagine how frustrating it is to schedule an appointment,
Yes.
and then it can't happen, or the connection just breaks. And then
Yeah.
also with things like, you had it all planned coming to Germany and it didn't work out. So do you have any advice what to do in situations like that?
You want to start, ladies?
um, I wish we knew what to do in situations like this. I don't know if we're qualified enough to give advice on this, because we're still trying to figure it out ourselves. But we can only do what we can, which is to take each day as it comes. And when we need to scream, we just scream and then get over it, and then life goes on. And the thing is, the two of us are very reactionary people. We have very reactionary personalities, both of us. We're extroverts. So when things go crazy, so far we're lucky that every time there's a challenge, of course, there's those combined challenges that we have together. But so far, when there's a huge challenge, at least it's one person or the other that's going through it, so that the other can be this person's support system, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So right now, just today, I had a crazy day, and then it was internet, and then I got an accident on my way back, and then so then Roman can be there for me during my crazy time, and so I could just go all out and scream and cry, whatever it is that I need to do. And when then Roman is having his stuff, I can be there for him, because it's very rarely when both of us are going through stuff at the same time. Apart from the stuff that we go through together as a couple, for instance, the fact that I wasn't able to join him early this September,
Yeah.
that was very devastating for both of us. And then in such cases, we're there for each other, and we try to console each other the best way we can. But yeah, that's what we're trying to do currently.
Yeah. So we try to give this emotions that come up in these situations when you're overwhelmed with something doesn't work out like you want. You let this emotion have its time, and you try to support each other, and not to focus and stay on this emotion, because this time we have together is right now only through the internet. And this time we both are working the whole day, and in the evening we don't want to talk only about some problems. We want to support each other. We want to fill up both each other's energy and have a good time. So let this emotion have its time, scream, cry, yeah, whatever, and then get over it. It sounds a bit hard, but yeah, we in this we definitely learned, and we can advise guys, long distance has a lot of more difficulties, I think, than when you grew up next to each other's door or you live in the same city. And especially because you are apart from each other. So when there's no electricity, you sit in the dark. When there's no internet, you talk to each other right now. We don't have this. And yeah, sometimes you struggle a bit more than you should. Yeah, but we always support each other. And yeah, for me, it helps so much to know, okay, Delia is around 10,000 kilometers away, but when I call her and I need her support, she's there for me, and I count on this, and it helps a lot for me.
So this is your way of being connected on distance. Obviously knowing that the other person will always be there no matter what, even though if you might not be able to talk right now, but as soon as you have the chance, it's...
Yeah, fill it as good as possible with something good and positive and joyful. And definitely, even especially when this doesn't happen because of breaking internet or something, or no bad connections, no electricity, this is very frustrating and stressful. But again, we learned to deal with it, try to be not too frustrated about some stuff that you can't change. We can't improve the electricity system in Uganda and have stable internet, and we must deal with it. So yeah, we do our best.
And so you also mentioned that September now, it didn't happen for you guys to see each other. So the next time you're going to see each other will be in November this year, right? So you, Roman, you will fly over.
Yeah.
Nice. When is the date exactly? And are you going to stay for Christmas as well?
No, it's from the beginning of November until the end. It's from the 9th November until I think I fly back at the 30th of November. So mostly the whole month.
Because you didn't celebrate Christmas together yet, right? So there are so many
No.
first times that are still going to come for you guys.
Never.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We've never celebrated some of these major holidays.
Yeah.
We did my birthday together this year for the first time, but we haven't done
Yes.
Roman's birthdays together. We haven't done Christmas together. We haven't done New Year's. We've done Valentine's Day, but New Year's and Christmas are a huge thing, and we haven't had a chance to do that together. And his birthday.
Yeah. And it will never get old. I mean, Nash and I were living together since a while already, and it's still amazing because you just appreciate it in another way because you didn't have this before. And then as soon as you live together, as soon as you have a routine, it just feels different, especially in the beginning. So this is going to be happening next year already?
You know what, Christina? We're still not sure. That is the crazy thing about this whole long distance. And that is precisely why we say long distance is not for the faint-hearted, it's only for ninjas. Because you need a certain mindset to handle this. Imagine we're not even sure what's going to happen at the beginning of the next year. We always try to make our own plans, but we've seen it happen where those same plans crash and things don't always turn out the way we want to. So we're still not sure. There's a lot that goes into the idea that, okay, now we're going to be under one household. The fact that I'm from Africa and Roman is from Germany, it makes the whole thing, I feel like it kind of takes away the romance of us, the romantic idea of, oh, we're gonna be together, because pragmatic about it. There's documents to fill out, interviews to take, exams to take. I need to take A1 German. We need to apply for the visa. We need interviews. We need to gather documentation from offices in Germany and offices in Uganda. All of that, the family is also kind of putting on pressure, especially on my side. When is it happening? When are you getting married? Is this guy serious? When are you guys going to be together? Is this even a real relationship that you're having when you're apart the whole time? And then, of course, we have our own personal lives, work, pressures from my work, pressures of Roman and his work.
Yeah.
All of that tied in. It's crazy. So that's why we say only ninjas can handle this. And I know you can relate, Christina, because there's only so many things that the world or the universe can throw at you. Relationships are hard as it is, and if the universe keeps throwing stuff at you, if they keep throwing, it's very easy to crack. At some point you're bound to crack. But then if you have that bond that's unbreakable and you come out of all of it solid, then it just strengthens the bond, and then at that point nothing really can ever come between. So that's what we're banking on. We don't know where we're going to be at the beginning of next year, but we're going to be together.
Definitely. Even when there's some few miles between us.
But your hearts are on the right place, so your hearts are close to each other, and that's the main thing. That's
definitely. That's so important.
Just like what you just said, Delia, I can very much relate to this. I mean, we were able to close the distance after 2 years, which is, compared to other couples that are in long distance relationships, quite a short time, to be honest. But then we also didn't know when this is going to happen and if this is going to happen. And we also had days where we were both like, why are we even doing this? But then we knew obviously why we're doing this. But sometimes you just have like this little question in your head, and you are able to push it away. Exactly. Is it all worth it? Which is crazy to think about. And obviously you shouldn't think about it, but it just happens naturally. And then if you have such a day, I mean, what I did, I would explain it to Nacho, and he was strong for me when I was weak. And this is exactly what you were just describing, Delia, and also Roman, that you have days where you can't handle all at once, but you know, okay, I have someone to talk about it, and this person will be strong for me, and then in the end it will be all right. Problem is only if both are having a weak moment or weeks, you know what I mean? Where the energy is not there anymore, and the energy just gets swallowed somehow in a big hole. And then I think this is also when those thoughts are going to be more intense of, hey, are we actually capable of doing this? But you definitely don't have this. So
I mean, we try to avoid it, but just because we're not saying it doesn't mean we're not thinking it, maybe. I think it's only human. It's a completely natural human response to any adverse situation, I think. What matters is...
And on the other side, so you both say it's natural to have these feelings, and it's, when you see it from this perspective, it helps you get back the focus. Yes, it's worth it. So get your stuff done and try to get back on the line to focus and get the goal that in the end we are together. So a self-reminder, yes, okay, I'm still on and I want to do this, and that's why I work my ass off, and I want to have this person in my life. I want to have this person next to me. Yes, this one there. And that's why I do all of this, and it's worth it. And I think it's important to question yourself, especially when you have this long distance for such a long time.
Especially if you don't know when you'll be able to close the distance. But if, like, let's just imagine if everything goes according to plan, I'm crossing fingers that everything will go according to plan. your plan A is to eventually move together in 2022, or what is your plan exactly?
Definitely 2022. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As soon as possible. We want to have our wedding on our anniversary day.
Mhm.
So if we can have that, then that would be great. That's April 22nd. But it all depends on the visa process and how long it takes. It takes usually anywhere between 3 months to 6 months to a year
Okay.
in some situations. But we're hoping that it's gonna be a lot shorter than that, so that in April we can, have a little time.
Yeah, and so our experience with the German offices and embassies, normally when you have all your stuff together and sorted out, and you can show them every document you must show, and you be nice and kind,
Yeah.
then normally you don't have a problem.
The only advice I can give you, make sure that whatever information they're giving you, they have to write it down in an email or so, whatever, because this is what we have learned. Only what's written is proof, because on the other hand, they can basically give you false information or just information that are half true, and you don't have proof, and you're like, but 1 week ago I talked to Mr. So and so why did things suddenly change? Like, what did I do?
Yes, we do.
And why do I need a different document after all? Or why does it has to be a different process after all? So what we did when we took care of Nacho's visa, because we've learned from our mistakes, we made sure whatever it was that we had emails of the process, of the things we had to deliver, just to make sure to show them, like, hey, we know that this is the way to go, and we want this, and give this to us because we know it works. So, and be stubborn. Because Germany,
yes, we do it
when it
all
comes
the time.
Perfect.
It's very important to have not only a phone call, and at every phone call we say, please send it via email, so we have it to remind and have it black on white.
Like that's what's count.
So it will, and it, like Delia said, it takes a bit away the romance about this stuff, but it's on us to bring it back, and it's on us to find ways to have our romance moments and keep this alive. So I love to do this and find ways to surprise my girl and to pleasure her. And so for me, it's an exciting stuff to find some ways, even when we start something and you always talk about, you must do this, and we must have document 8.568 whatever. And it's very important to say, okay, this is our date night tomorrow, and we are not allowed to talk about something official or work or something. We do only this and this, and I've planned something and whatever, even when it's something small.
So that this is not going to take over part of your, or most of your relationship, the pressure, the paperwork, also the pressure in general. Will we be able, for example, November, most probably you'll be able to see each other again, but then what you just said, Delia, in the end, it doesn't always work out the exact same way you wish it to work out, but also not to get frustrated about it. In the moment, it's okay, yes, but not on the long run. So it will not affect your relationship. So that you make sure that you are paying like 100,000% attention to your relationship itself, like you as a couple, and not only the things you have to get in order to make it work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I love that. That's actually, so for everyone who's listening right now, please take this as a very, 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 very good advice, because Nacho and I, we have been there. And I remember when our wedding, so when we were close to our wedding, I was a little bit crazy, I would say, for a couple of months. And I wasn't even able to enjoy the little moments I had with Nacha anymore, because in my head, I just had like, okay, is this all going to work out with papers? How is the wedding going to be? What's going to happen afterwards? And nowadays, I totally regret that I wasn't in the moment, that I couldn't enjoy the little time I had with Nacho, especially before we got married, because I was worried about so many things. So I wish we would have had days where we just, where it's just him and me, where we just talk about, in general, about our relationship, like about daily things except paperwork, and hey, how is it going to be afterwards? When are we going to do stuff like this? Because it just makes you mad and crazy at some point. So try to choose Roman's and Delia's way, because that's so much better than what we did at that point. Definitely.
Yeah.
So you were talking about, Delia, that your family is also asking like, hey, when is it going to happen? So I guess they're quite curious and they want to be involved and everything in the next steps. You mentioned last time we've talked that your mom loves Roman, so she's totally accepting him. But do you feel like this is adding an additional pressure on your end, especially that family is always asking, hey, what's going on between you guys? Or is it more like, okay, I know what's between us and we make it work and I don't have to explain it to anyone else?
Oh, African families, that last statement you just made does not ever exist. It doesn't matter if you're 40 years old or if you're 50 or 60. They are entitled to the details, to everything. And they demand explanations.
And everyone has an opinion for everything.
They demand explanations and everything. But no, I mean, I think there's not that big of a pressure outside of the normal pressure. Obviously, I'm going through this for the first time, so it's pressure to me. But my elder, I'm the last born in my family, so my bigger sisters, they all say like, "Oh yeah, girl, that is normal. Like they're gonna ask, they're gonna dissect everything. They need to know, and you need to give them the information because that's just the way it is." So, but the upside to that is that, okay, so we were planning to have the Western wedding in Germany in April, but the traditional wedding is actually happening this November, the Ugandan, the African one. The Kwanjula. Yes. Ding, 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 ding. So we are in the middle, knee deep in the planning process, and the upside to a culture where, so there's advantages and disadvantages to this. The disadvantage is there's pressure, everyone is in your business and you can't stand it. But the advantage to that is Ugandan families, especially in my tribe, the Baganda, they are very hands-on in the planning process. We plan as a family. They plan every detail, like, where are you getting the dress? Let's see. So how much is the dress? Which uncle can take care of the dress? Okay, done. Where are the napkins? Okay, which auntie is taking care of the napkins and the chairs? Done. So we plan as a family. It takes off a lot of the pressure from the couple. Otherwise, you think about affordability. That's why you're able to see these lavish African weddings. If you Google African weddings, you're always going to see lavish things because the couple doesn't take care of that on their own. The entire family comes into it and crowd funds the entire thing, which is great. You feel part of something big. You don't feel left alone in the process. And they all celebrate with you because they feel like they have a stake. It's like they've invested. It's like investing in a company. They've invested into it. So they have a stake in your relationship. So if they ask you what's going on, is Roman treating you good? You better give them an answer because they have a stake in this relationship.
Yeah.
Another upside to that is that is what usually binds African marriages. Divorce is very rare in Africa because of this. After everyone is involved, how are you then going to come and tell everybody, guys, we're calling it quits? You have a lot of people to answer to, and it's not just announcing, it's explaining. Everyone will have their advice. It's a lot. So I think a lot of the couples here, it's not that everyone it's not that everyone here is in successful marriages, but they think about how they're going to answer to every single family member. And families here are very big. I think that alone is enough for them to be like, you know what, let's just keep going.
Mhm.
So somebody always thinks twice before they call it. And in my opinion, that is I think it's an advantage, because then it gives you a chance to focus, try to make it work, and take a second thought on it and see what else you can do to make it work. Yeah, but yeah, the whole family is definitely involved, and yeah, it's good and it's also bad, but it's mostly good.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
It just sounds so different to what Roman and I are used to be honest.
Yeah, but this is the very exciting part for me, and I think it's for us to have this intercultural relationship, that we can have both.
Mm, mm. So you blended in. So you're
Yeah.
going to like
Oh,
to cultures.
Roman is like a sponge. He just soaks everything up. You would think he's been living in Uganda for 20 years.
Yeah.
He's very adaptable. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, before you joined, we talked about driving in Uganda, and
With
how I
Buddha
love it
Buddha.
to drive there in this crazy town.
This
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. And he was like, and in the beginning he thought that this is going to be an issue, driving on the wrong side, on the left side, and also having the steering wheel on the wrong side. But then he was like,
Yes.
okay, I could get used to it. So he was
Yeah,
actually super
it was
excited about
much
driving.
more easier than I thought. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm not afraid to try out something. So
How is it going to be for you, Delia? I mean, if you think about it, because next step would also be after. By the way, you're going to get married in Germany, most probably in April. Crossing fingers to that, 22nd
Yes.
of April.
yeah,
And then the visa process is most probably going to take a while and everything. And then as soon as you have the papers, you're going to move to Germany, right, Delia?
Yes, but we shall maintain a home here as well, because I have a startup here that I founded and that I'm running. So the issue of long distance, I don't know if we'll ever stop being long distance, honestly. But I do think a time is going to come where we shall, instead of traveling back and forth apart and staying apart and coming together, my hope is that a time will come where we shall continue to travel back and forth, yes, but together.
yeah. This is our biggest goal, long distance goal. Yeah.
How would it look like? So you're going to have a home in Germany. I'm just very curious. I hope that's fine. You're going to
Yes.
have a home in Germany and then a home in Uganda as well.
Yes, right. So
Yes.
I live here with my family at a big farm, and we started to um, build up here some flats and houses, and I live here for a very cheap rent, so it's very good. And the same we do in Uganda. We have there an apartment that we rent out, and when we are not there, we can rent it out maybe as an Airbnb or something, so that some income comes from there. And when we know, okay, we are moving to Uganda, we block it for us for the time when we stay there, and we move back and forth.
A half year there and then the other half a year in Uganda, or depends on how things are working out. Yeah.
How it that depends on how often Delia must be in Uganda. And yeah, for the first time it will be that I'm an employee and I have a specific amount of days free time from work. In the beginning it will be like this, but it will be much more together than before. So I'm not worried. I'm excited for next year.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yay!
Just, you know what I just love, and that just crossed my mind because the first time we've talked was I think it was end of July, if I remember correct. No, end of June. When Nacho and I were in Prague, when I had the first video call with you guys.
Yeah.
And now it's the 19th of September already. So it's like almost 3 months later. And I feel like even though if it's just a short time period, you know, so much happened in your lives already. So much.
It's so crazy. Every day is something new on top.
Exactly. And you deal with all this, you also grow together. And what I just love is also, for example, the couples we've interviewed 1 year ago, seeing where they are nowadays and following their stats and realizing, hey, even though like it's just amazing what's going to happen in your lives within the next 6 months, because just imagine how many things have changed in the past few years already for you guys, you know? And this is what I love so much. And this is why I'm like, hey, I want to know what's going on, because I want to be part of this. This is just like, it's like, it's a story no one can invent. It's like, it's crazy. This is the story only lives can write.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you guys will keep me posted. But I hope that I'll see a little bit more about you on Instagram as well. I know that you do have some projects you're working on together as well.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about it already, or is it still a secret?
No, it's still a secret project, but as soon as possible, when we get the go, we will spread it out. But
we'll let you know first, Christina.
It's still a secret project. It's it becomes maybe a bit more bigger than expected.
Okay.
But we are not allowed to give more details right now.
When are you allowed to give more details?
Hopefully as soon as possible.
We don't know yet.
As soon as possible?
Probably the beginning of the year.
We want to spread it out too.
Okay. I'm just so curious.
I know.
Because we connected on Instagram. Like I connect with almost every couple there, and I just see that. I mean, and you guys were telling me as well that there's still like a few things you're working on, besides of everything else going on in your lives, obviously. And I was just like, I kind of feel connected to you guys. So I kind of want to see, what are you doing? What are you up to? You know, and then I see that on Instagram, there are a few things happening, but for example, you don't have any stories, because I also know that you just have little time on hand right now. So what you do is you post a quote every day on Instagram, and sometimes a few pictures, but that's it. So I'm just dying to know what's going on. Like,
we've been so overwhelmed lately. We've been so overwhelmed lately with the planning of the weddings, 2 weddings that we're planning at the same time. My startup, Roman's work, it's very overwhelming. It kills us. We want to be back on Instagram soon. So, but for the secret project, we can't obviously say anything yet. but we hope to be posting more content on our Instagram soon.
Yeah.
That maybe we could kill that curiosity, Christina, a little bit, maybe. Yeah.
I hope you still like me, but I'm just like, especially when it comes to things like this, because this is obviously, after having so many interviews, this became my passion to talk to guys like you and seeing how different cultures are blending in. And I feel like it's just so cool to see, as I said before, how two souls are just growing together, following a goal, and then also working on projects and secret projects together. So like it's just like, okay, I kind of want to know, but okay, I'm gonna wait, and then as soon as you're allowed to make it public,
we let you know.
Perfect. And if anything, if you give me the okay, I'm going to share it as well with everyone who's listening right now, because I can imagine it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be huge. Talking about your business, Delia, as well, because you said that you're very busy, and with that, I kind of want to get to an end of the conversation as well. Roman was telling me, I didn't know that. Roman was telling me what you're doing, and I am so amazed that I also want to know more about that.
So I'm a founder and CEO of a medtech startup called My Musao. Musao in my language means doctor. So it's basically an app for doctors. We're trying to bridge the information and quality services gap here in Uganda. So we're developing the app right now. It's still not out yet, but while we're developing it, we've already started with our marketing, sharing value and free medical and health advice on all our social platforms, on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and TikTok. My Musao. So that's basically what we're doing. I just gathered all my doctor friends that we went to medical school with. My background is in medicine. So all my friends that I went to med school with, all my friends that I met along the way while working in the hospital, I got them together, and we're trying to bridge the gap, the quality healthcare and information gap here in Uganda.
Maybe you can give a little background information about the situation in Uganda, why there's such a gap, and why it is important to advance something like this before. So for everyone who to get an imagination, what big of a project is it is actually, it's not just a little thing, it's actually a very big deal.
Yes. Well, our healthcare system, I would say, is not the best. It could be better, definitely. We have a very good educational system. So you have a lot of very well-educated and passionate doctors coming out of the education system. But when they join the workforce, they get kind of demotivated because they don't get paid well. They don't get paid regularly. They end up having to take on second, third, fourth, fifth, 5, 6 jobs just to pay bills. And you find them working at this clinic from 8 to 10, and then this clinic from 10 to 11, and then that clinic from 12 to 3. And it's a lot for them. Or the ones that manage to get some income or get a loan, they could start a clinic or start a hospital, but they're not trained in finance or entrepreneurship or business. So there's a lot of pressure on them as well. And then you slowly start to see that the shift on the focus on them doing what they do best, which is take care of people's lives and healthcare. You start to see a shift because they're human beings. And at some point, a human needs to take care of themselves and their family. So then with all those pressures together, they start shifting off from what they do best. And then that affects the entire healthcare system. Because of course they're not motivated, they're not being paid well, the hospitals are not as well equipped as they should be. I can go on and on about what a healthcare system looks like in a developing country. But yes, so there's a gap there, and that is the problem, and we're trying to solve it. In a nutshell, yes. So it's taking a lot of my time now. That's why I've not been so active on Instagram. I'm more active now on the My Musao social platforms. But I'm getting to a place where I can at least get a team to help me out so that I like to work on Travel Swirl. It's my happy place. So I want to get back to doing that as soon as possible. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. And obviously, for everyone who's interested in, I'm going to link everything in the side notes as well.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, of course. Because if there's something you need support with, or maybe someone can connect, because I can't tell who exactly is listening to this podcast
Yeah.
episode. You will find it definitely in the link below. Because what I've heard is also that you do need people supporting you, helping you, and working on this bigger goal so that you can grow it and also spread as soon as the application is done. Take care of the
Yes.
marketing and everything that comes with it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is what we've learned in this last years a lot. So, where you have connections, and
Mm-hmm.
if even in Uganda or here, it's the same.
Yeah, connections always help a lot. You get a long
Yeah,
way with them. That's true.
and you never know where you get a new connection from.
Yeah, maybe some of the listeners. So again, if this is something you can identify with and you want to get in contact with Delia, just go ahead. You will also find their Instagram link in the side notes. I mean, the time you have, most of it is invested in the project, in helping others, and not only
Mm-hmm.
helping others, but setting a milestone. And this is crazy to think about. It's not only a small thing, it's a huge project. It's something that most probably is going to take a couple of years, but you're committed to
Yeah.
do it like 100,000%, no matter how time it's going to take, no matter how much you have to suffer, no matter how many stones might be thrown in your way. And I think when someone has an idea and when someone wants to help others with this idea, it just needs as much support as it can get in order to grow and in order
Yes.
to be placed as soon as possible, and so that it's going to help as many people as soon as possible.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. And I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you, baby. He's my number one biggest fan. He's amazing.
I am, yes.
Yeah, I
I
know,
am.
I know. We've talked about you before you logged in, and he was like last time. He was all over the place when talking about you with a big
Aw.
smile, and I was like, okay, he's like just the biggest cheerleader.
Aw.
Yeah.
So we talked about Delia's project. Roman, you are working full time. You are is it kindergartner in
It's
English, or
educator in a childcare home, in a foster home.
yeah?
Yeah.
And you just
So
have a specific amount of holidays per year, as it's
yeah, so it's
normal in Germany.
because I have shift work, so I normally work 24 hours. So I start at
Oh,
Monday,
okay.
and at Monday at 12, and Tuesday at 12:30 I quit. So I stay the 24 hours there, have the whole day with the kids, the 10 kids. We have 10 places in my group, in my house. They live there. It's their number one place to be. Some of them have contact to their families, but not all of them. And I'm share the whole day with them, educate them wherever I can, and be there for them. Yeah.
So you're leaving footprints as well by changing the life of those kids and being the number
Yes,
person to go to.
hopefully show them most of the time a better way to live and to conquer all this stuff that comes up
Yeah.
with them, and especially when they come to us they have most of the time the first time where they can start to breathe and start to rehab and to process all this shit that happened to them. So the first thing you must learn is that not to have the hope that everything goes now in the best way, because they start to process all this shit they work with, and this takes time, and they must have the time and the place to freak out and do whatever they want, and you be there and help them to come back in line.
It's a lot to take in. I mean, choosing this type of profession, obviously you have to be a very strong person yourself as well in order to deal with all this as well, because you said, like,
Yes,
obviously they all have a background, and they had to deal with a lot in their lives, in their young lives already.
yes, this is the first time you must first thing you must find out for yourself. Are you capable to stand this more than 100 stories, and one is better than the other, and that you don't take everything to your home with? Yeah.
So what I see definitely in you guys is that you, Roman, and also Delia, you're both very social persons when it comes to believing that with what you're doing, you will impact at least a few people surrounding you. Obviously, you can't save the whole world, but impacting just a few, and then it's, in most cases, it's like a domino effect. So you never know what effect it will have on the long run, also on others that you don't affect directly, you know. And I just see you guys as soon as you are together, because I can only imagine what an energy it is when you guys are together physically, you know.
Yes.
Even though if you are different, there are two different nationalities, but I guess when you just come together, it's just like an explosion, and it's like a lot of energy. And I'm so excited where the next few months and the next few years are going to lead you, because what I see is definitely that you will leave footprints, especially when you're together, by supporting each other, by being there for each other. And I really can't wait to see where this is going to lead you guys. I'm so happy that you guys met. I'm so happy that we guys met as well, that you shared your story. Thank you. Your story with everyone who's listening. And
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Christina.
Yeah,
that
thank you
means a
very
lot.
much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we keep you updated, and as soon as possible we are back in line with the Travels World. We have some plans for it, and we will work on it.
Okay, so one day I will wake up and I'll be surprised.
Yes.
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
So guys, is there anything else you would like to share before we hang up?
Maybe just to encourage all the long distance relationships out there to never give up. You'd rather be 6,000 miles apart, but with your soulmate. You know who your soulmate is. It's true love. There's no doubt in your mind, than be with somebody in the same house who is pretty much a stranger, right? So at all costs, do whatever it takes, but hang in there and just let the love win, because in the end, love always wins.
Yeah, and don't be afraid of at least to try it. I'm so happy that we never gave up in the early days, where we start to think about, is there a chance? Is there something that we both say, okay, we give this a chance and it will succeed in the end? And I'm so proud that we've done it. And with every thing that comes up and brings you some hurdles in your line, you grow together. And I never wanna lose a chance to have this anymore.
This is the love story of Delia and Roman. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoy talking to them. And if you like what we're doing, please feel free to leave us a rating on iTunes or wherever you're listening to us. That would be amazing and highly appreciated. By the way, what I am trying to do as well is to follow up with the couples we have talked to so far. And a few things happened in the life of the one or the other couple we had the honor to interview the past few months. And obviously, we keep you posted. I hope that I'll be able to keep you posted what's going on with Delia and Roman and their secret project. I'm dying to learn more about it. But anyway, we'll figure it out. I'm on it. Please take care. And yes, see you in 2 weeks for the next episode. So stay tuned and have a lovely morning, a lovely afternoon, or a lovely night, wherever you are right now and wherever you're listening to us.